There we go. There I am. Hey, everybody. As you can see, it's the holiday season here at the virtual world of where Chris does his thing. I don't know, what do you call this space? My stream space, my little stream home. It's all very Christmassy here. So we had some questions, and I wanted to talk about some of the questions that have been being asked over in Discord about the game. And one of the questions that was asked recently is, are we interested in having people write for our game, and not actually write for the game itself, but do novels and things related to our content? And, you know, we've had questions asked. This is not the first time this has been asked. We've had a number of different people ask whether, you know, we were interested in hiring them or whether we were interested in hiring somebody else, or, you know, boy, your stuff sure would make a great novel. So I wanted to walk through the business of that for a minute and kind of let you know how that works if you were curious. And we'll get to an answer in here in a minute. So there's basically two ways. When you see a game book, you know, you go and you see some sort of book or thing that's made within the licensed material of your game or your something else like that. There's basically two frameworks by which that happens. Framework number one is an author says, you know what, I bet I could sell a bunch more books if I were to attach license X to my book. And they go to the people who have license X and say, I would like to write a book for which I will get the profits, and I would like to use your license. And for that, they pay a license fee, and the license fee is usually some amount of upfront money plus some percentage on the back end. So they'll say, you know, for instance, I'll give you, you know, $10,000 plus 10% of the net proceeds of the product to, and those numbers are bullshit numbers, by the way. And, you know, they say, okay, I'll give you that, and then I'll go write the book and I'll deal with everything. And usually as part of that agreement, the license holder has some sort of rights to look at the book and make sure that you didn't fill it full of, I don't know, scat porn or something, and say, yeah, all right, that's legit. You can put our name on that. Off you go. That's model one. Model two is the opposite of that, which is where a license holder, be it the people who own Star Trek or the people who own anything, say, you know, hey, we actually want these books made, and we actually want to profit from them, and we want to have complete creative control over those. But we don't happen to have any authors here in the studio, so let's go hire a writer, and the writer will earn usually a flat fee, maybe a very small percentage on the back end, to go write that book. But it's totally creatively controlled by the license holder, and it's paid for by the license holder, and the publisher works directly with the license holder and not the author. Those are the two ways that can happen. Is Boomzap interested in either one of those two things? Right now, no. It's not. We've got a lot of stuff going on in the studio, and I don't think it's a great, you know, I have a hard time looking somebody in the eye right now and saying that the last Regiment license is worth enough for me to charge a license fee. But I hope that in the future it will be worth enough that it would be worth charging a license fee for, so I'm not willing to let it go for free. And on the other side, am I ready to go, you know, pay somebody to make some Last Regiment books? No, I don't think right now that the license of Last Regiment is worth enough that it would make sense for me to pay money to go do that. But it is something we've talked about, getting some variety of ghostwriter to come in and do a series, if it ever were something that picked up. But the short answer is no, Boomzap's probably not going to do anything like that with our license right now, and certainly not with Callasia. I don't think Callasia was a big enough license that anyone gives a crap. So that's the quick answer for people who were curious about that, and a little insight into the way working with games licenses and writing works for those who are curious. As some people mentioned in the chat, there are different rates. Depending on, you know, it's largely about how big is the license, and how powerful the people, you know, if you, and also it depends on who you are, right? If you happen to be Stephen King, that's a very different story than if you're Chris Natsume, right? Those are two very different discussions that you're going to have with a license holder. And by the same thing, the discussion that I would have with somebody about the Last Regiment license versus the discussion that Disney would have with somebody about the Star Wars license, these are radically different things as well.